This is the Persian Gulf. On this side is Turkey, up here on the top. And on the bottom part is Egypt. So I've got Turkey, Egypt, and the Far East on this side. The blue stuff over here is the Mediterranean Sea. The brown stuff over here is the Arabian Desert. Now, nobody walks across the sea unless you have a lot of faith. Even Peter didn't have enough, okay? Nobody crosses the desert with major amounts of water and logistics. And if you're following where I'm going with, okay, the main bottleneck, the main corridor, the main connection between everything on the map on this side and everything on the map on this side goes through a little strip of land here between the Mediterranean Sea and something that we call the Jordan River. And if you're following where I'm going, we're actually talking about a little bottleneck right here, which means that if anybody wants to walk from Egypt to anywhere in Asia or Europe, or if anybody wants to go from Asia to anywhere in Egypt, they have to come through this little strip of land. Do you know what this is called?
Israel.
Israel. We have a saying, God put us in one of the most strategic places in the world today. Okay, so this is what we call the land bridge or the crossroads of Asia, Europe, and Africa. Maybe one way to illustrate this is that in the 1950s, Israel starts buying jet airplanes from the French, and we start losing jet airplanes to bird strikes. If a bird goes into a jet airplane engine, you know it's a big balagan and a big mess. So they put up a radar station. They started tracking birds that fly through the skies of Israel, and it turns out that listen to this number, 250 million birds fly through the skies of Israel twice a year. 250 million going this way, and then 250 million going that way. This is a main migration route between anywhere in the north and anywhere in the south. We are the land bridge or the crossroads of all of these connections, of all of these. That's why anybody who's anybody in the ancient world had to conquer this part of real estate. Assyrians had to conquer us. Babylonians had to conquer us. Greeks had to conquer us. Romans had to conquer us. Egyptians had to conquer. Everybody who's anybody had to conquer this little piece. That's why this piece of real estate is stuck in the middle and has been fought for down through the ages. So far, so good? I'm going to make it a little bit more complex. I need you to turn around. Some of you can see this, others you'll be able to see this a little bit later. This is a smaller scale map. These are the Carmel Mountains, by the way, hills, okay? We call them mountains because they're in the Holy Land, okay? So the Carmel Mountains is one of the few places where the mountains actually come down to the coast. The main road during the Roman period was a road that runs around the circle of the Mediterranean Sea, okay? Which means you come up from the south, let's say from Egypt, and at some point you have to cross over the Carmel Mountains. And when you cross over the Carmel, here is a very strategic place, because here you have to make a decision. If you turn left and go to Lebanon and all places, Europe, or do you turn right and go to Damascus and all places, Asia? And if you're following where I'm going with, if this is the crossroads of three continents, this is the crossroads of the crossroads. Whoever controls this, controls this. Whoever controls this, controls land access to three continents. Are we okay on this one? Okay? Which is why battles have been fought here since ancient times. The oldest depiction of a battle, the oldest record of a battle that we have, talks about a battle that took place on the hill outside of Megiddo. All right, right here. Ancient Egyptians. This is Mount Tabor. Remember the battle, Dvorah, Midianites, the chariots get stuck in the mud? Anybody remember? That's a biblical battle. This is Mount Gilboa. This is where Saul and Jonathan lost their lives to the Philistines, Mount Gilboa. I mean, biblical battles fought here down through the ages because of the strategic importance of this site. But not only biblical battles, okay? The Mongolian horde. Mongolians came down from China. They came all the way down here, fought a very decisive battle here. This is where they were turned around and sent back. This is where they were stopped. Yes, 1799. A man stands on the top of the hill right outside here, puts his hand in his shirt, and says, if I could select a classical battleground, this would be the place I would select to fight a battle. By the way, his name Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay, literally fought a battle here in the valley that we're talking about. 1917, World War I. The British are coming from the south. The Turks are fighting against from the north. And here's a decisive battle, which after this they say we've conquered the Holy Land. 1948, battles during the War of Independence. What I'm trying to say, the battles here, because of the strategic importance here, okay, make a lot of sense. Then why am I not surprised when the Bible talks about the battle to end all battles in Revelation 16:16? It mentions this valley by name. It says that this is where the armies will come together in the valley of the hill of Megiddo. You're standing next to the hill of Megiddo. That means the valley outside, where the buses are, a little bit further below, is the valley of hill of Megiddo. That's where the battle to end all battles is going to start to take place. Does that make sense? Now we know why God put us in this very strategic place. Okay, we have a saying in Hebrew, God gave us an amazing country, wonderful beaches, wonderful high-tech industry, everything is wonderful. He gave us an amazing country, He just put us in a really crummy neighborhood. And we'll talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, but you start to understand why God put us here in the middle. Was that okay? Was that clear? Joseph, okay. Who was a?
I've been there.
I'm not sure.
Oh, really? Here?
I'm not sure. The Bible actually says that he wasn't a carpenter. Well, it uses the term in Greek, in the ancient Greek, it uses the term teton. Teton, translated literally, means a builder. Okay? Now, most of the translations translated builder into carpenter because the translations into the European languages, what's the cheap material that you build things out of in Europe? Wood. Which is why the translation says a carpenter. But it makes much more sense that a builder in this environment did much more work in stone than in wood. Does that make sense? And you only understand that after you've been here and understand the environment. You understand where you are. So we believe that Jesus and Joseph did as much stonework, maybe even mosaics, probably in the city on the other side of that bridge, the city of Cyprus, that was actually being built at the time. Okay, it was a huge construction site at the time we're talking about. We think that they were probably as much stonemasons as they were actually